everyone, and welcome to Monica at Home Interview Edition. I'm Alexandra Mayers, better known as Monica Foster of www.monicaf.com, but also the website that I created specifically for these little broadcasts, www.monicaathome.com. Now, I am still officially on summer hiatus. I will be back in September, but I had the opportunity to interview Misti of MeowMistiDawn.com, and I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that she had to say, because she's quite the interesting young lady, and when it comes to the future of porn, I always like to be on top of things, and she is definitely somebody who I view as the future of a certain niche of porn. So enjoy. All right, well, welcome Meow Misti Dawn to Monica at Home.
Hello.
Hi, and now will I call you Misti Dawn or Meow Misti Dawn?
You just call me Misty.
All right, that's great. Okay, now I guess the first question I have for you is, when did you decide you wanted to give the adult entertainment industry a try, and what exactly brought you in?
I guess I didn't really think a lot about it, kind of. I started when I was 18 doing suicide girls while I was still in high school.
Cool.
And I just heard about it, and actually I had a friend of mine who said that I couldn't get on Suicide Girls because I was too chubby at the time. I was pretty chubby in high school, and I think I did it kind of to spite him, to show him that I could do it. And then I ended up getting on there, and I did a couple sets for them. I went on to school after high school and had normal jobs and stuff like that, and I got laid off.
What kind of jobs did you have?
Normal college jobs, waited tables. I worked in a call center, just crappy, awful jobs.
Okay, well, we all had those jobs.
And they make you a better person, you know.
No, they do.
Wait tables, you get a whole new understanding.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, you said you were in high school when you did Suicide Girls, so when did you first start with the tattoo art on yourself?
I started the day I turned 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you the only one in your family, your immediate family?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. I was wondering about that.
My papa had one tattoo from World War II.
Okay.
But, you know, it was like a little hula girl that they got from being in Hawaii together.
Cool. What inspired you to decide to, do the body art on yourself? Because it's interesting to me because it shows a lot of commitment. And, I'm commitment-phobic when it comes to altering really anything physically, but I admire that you've done this. And I mean, is it true about the addiction to ink and all that kind of stuff? Or?
It definitely, I can understand the addiction part. You know, as soon as you get one thing, you're like, well, I really like this, and then I really like this, and I could get this too, and I could work these together. But I don't know. I've tried to figure out over the years why I became so attracted to tattoos. I know when I would look at people that were heavily tattooed, I found it more attractive than I did. Not necessarily without. I wouldn't say that it was. I caught my eye more. You know.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful, and I really like the one that's on your chest. I consider that your trademark one. Tell me the backstory behind that.
Well, it's a heart with wings. This is the one I got the day I turned 18. It was just kind of a motto, my family had, as long as you're alive, it can't be worse as long as you're alive, you can always turn things around.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, now another question I have for you is, what studios have you worked with, and what have been your favorite projects, both adult and mainstream?
I really like working for Penthouse. They're really nice, really professional. I've worked for Brazzers, I've worked for Zero Tolerance, Evil Angel, Belladonna, and then I've done some mainstream, mostly like music videos for MC Lars, and then I did a rock and roll theater thing for Tim Armstrong from Rancid.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And that was a lot of fun.
No, that's great. I just did an interview recently with BB Jones, and she was in a music video too. So that's kind of a cool trend that the music industry is being so accepting to the adult entertainers and putting them into projects, because it's such a good launch pad, really.
Oh yeah, pretty girls sell music easily.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. All right, now One thing that I want to touch on is that as of recent, you've received a lot of attention, both positive and negative, in regards to something that went on with Burning Angel. And I really wanted to get your input and your side of the story on that, because certain things didn't seem quite right to me. So tell me what happened from your perspective.
I guess the short of the story, it's been going on for about a year and a half. There was issues with, I was making my own site, and then they wanted to make the site for me, and I declined. Then they came to me and said, we have all this to offer you if you do the site with us. So I discussed it with, my web guy, and he's like, you should do it. It sounds like a good idea. It ended up taking 9 months to even have the site ready, because they decided to redo all their network sites before they did mine. And 9 months is a really lengthy period in porn, because porn is not like a 50-year career. And any time you waste, it's time you waste, money you waste. And so I decided, I said, I want something in writing saying that you're going to have this done, and I'm going to have this done by a certain date, because at this point I was getting my 1-year renewal for my domain owning, and there's nothing on the site still. And then it just got really messy from there. I wasn't saying it to make things upset. I just wanted a website agreement. Like, I agree to give you this content. You agree to this cut. You agree to this promotion. I agree to this amount of work. And they had their lawyer, who was Fattorosi, call me and just really just chew me out for no reason. I was very confused. And when I tried to call Joanna, James said that she couldn't talk to me without a lawyer. And I was like, well, where did this come from? Like, we're just writing this out. And he was like, well, you can talk to me. You can talk to me. And I was like, well, if she can't talk to me, I'm not talking to you. It's her business. And eventually we got a 3-way call. And this was kind of the pattern that consistently started to happen. We would talk. I would think things were settled. And then I would hear about other things. So finally got the site launched. The main part of it was that they were supposed to drive the traffic to my site. And I started learning about Google Analytics and, Alexia and marketing on my own. And I was seeing that the traffic really wasn't coming from them. It was from my own work, and that the content I was producing for my site, they were putting on their main site as well. So it was essentially, why would they ever shoot me again? Because I'm giving them free content. And then, conventions I would do for free for them, and just different things. And I really didn't mind. Like, I really thought Joanna was my friend. I got her 2 gigs in my hometown. And, when she came to visit my friends is kind of when people were telling me things and I didn't want to believe them. But she kind of threw a fit about having to stay at my house and not a hotel. And I was kind of like, I was really excited for her to come visit me and meet my friends and family and stuff, and she just didn't seem very interested. And that's when I kind of started to think, like, she's not really my friend. She's trying to be my friend to get business from me, and that's fine, but just be upfront about it. And there were little things, like the releases were written so that if anything happened the whole day on set, whether it was on camera or not, they could use it. And there was a time I was fooling around with a guy, and they videotaped it, and she put it up on her site for content. And then when I saw it go up, I was like, I don't even remember this happening. I was
Did you sign a release for that?
Our release was written so that anything that happened that day, even though it wasn't on the scene.
Okay. Now, the site that you have up right now, I actually really like your site. I checked it out last night. And now, the site that's up right now, was that her creation, or Burning Angel's creation, or your creation? It's all my creation. Okay.
And in December, I asked to come off the network, and I really thought things were fine. I was just like, your idea of what you want my image to be, because they kind of wanted me to be the slutty Southern girl. I was like, it's not really my thing, like the nerd girl, and that's my thing. And we split, and I thought it was totally fine, because they didn't do anything except take their 50% each month, so what are they really hurting? And then that's when she started asking people not to hire me. She called Hot Movies and asked them to drop me from signing in January. And her defense was that I was a Burning Angel girl, but at this point I had already worked with, Belladonna.
And you didn't have a contract, right?
On a network. Do what?
Did you have a contract that specifically called you a Burning Angel girl?
No.
Or
Did not ever. And CJ and Jess from Hot Movies are the ones who kind of gave me the heads up about it, because I thought that it might have been happening, but
it makes me wonder how much work you might have lost, actually.
Quite a bit. I was booked for Jenna Hayes, and then they're best friends, and they had dinner together, and then suddenly I was canceled for that shoot. And we actually had a meeting with my agent, Mike Moz at LA Direct, and she admitted to doing this, because once I said, I have people that are willing to make statements. I know that you're doing this. I just need you to admit it. And she was like, well, my feelings were hurt. So she did even admit to doing it, which is funny that I was getting negative comments because one person pointed out, no one ever said that I was wrong. They just talked about their experience.
Okay.
So I don't really know why I got singled out because I know there's other girls that she wanted to help. I don't
Well,
know.
the whole thing's wrong. It's wrong.
My...
It's wrong in my view because if she wasn't willing to put you under contract and pay you a base salary or, because I mean, let's be realistic here, you have to pay your bills, so you have to work. And if the work that you were doing for her wasn't compensating your lifestyle, then why shouldn't you go out and get other work? And then it's very strange to me that she's saying that her feelings were hurt, but yet she got her attorney, Michael Fattorosi, involved.
Right.
Very interesting, and it's a shame, but you know, I think a part of the reason why is because I personally see that you could be a very strong competitor to her. Your work is excellent. You know, I'm very impressed by your website. I do like the nerd girl thing. I especially love the Atari-esque kind of graphics because Atari was my first computer. Now, did you grow up in like the arcade era? Because you're a little young, actually, to be into the Atari thing. Because I know I was
an Atari.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom actually owned a video store, so it was back when you could rent the consoles.
Okay.
And so we always had every new console and every new game, so I always got to grow up with all the new games and stuff.
That's a cool backstory to that because that really struck me. I was like, well, look at this. Look at That's cool. Okay, my next question is, well, we already talked about, you know, your tattoos and everything. Do you have any other meaningful tattoos that you want to talk about that maybe your fans like to ask you about?
I guess my new favorite one I just gotta show you. It's
Cool. Okay.
the Master Shield with the Master Sword from Zelda.
Wow, I remember that game. I remember how it was golden. My sister and I, we used to be like, ooh, Zelda, let's play.
The golden cartridge, which if you have now, you can sell that for like $60 to $80.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I gotta call
no
my mom
box,
and
anything.
see if it's in the attic or something somewhere. That's crazy. All right. Well, you know, speaking of your tattoos, you know, I've heard a lot of women who have tattoos say, oh, I'm so limited because I have my tattoos. But I personally think that the more unique you are, the more that you can carve a niche for yourself and the more popular you wind up being. What's been your experience?
I would definitely say it cuts out a lot of, you know, everyday mainstream kind of porn work for sure. You know, like there's just one, and I know sound like the generic blonde, tan, big boobs. Look, I obviously don't fit in. I'm not the call-in girl for that. But at the same rate, I get to work on a lot of projects that those people don't. So it's a give and take. You know, they get to make a large amount of money in a short period of time, but then, like you said, to carve a niche, you actually get to stand the test of time a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so, and I haven't seen any other girls in the industry that look like you at all. Not at all, especially because there's not very many redheads from what I've observed.
And a dying breed.
Oh, I hope not. I think redheads are beautiful, men and women. But that's interesting. That's interesting. But I agree. I think that in the long term, you'll wind up being more popular. And you know, are you ever planning on getting behind the camera more? Because some of your now on your website, your scenes that you've shot is that a mixture of the Burning Angel scenes and things that you've done on your own, or is it all you?
Oh, it's all me. Everything I create on my site is all my idea, all produced by me.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, no, it was all mine.
Yeah, I might have to join actually because I'm very curious to see. You have a beautiful still of a girl that you've done. I'm not sure who the female talent was, but it's like a pretty room, white backdrop. You also have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just with Emily Parker.
Okay, yeah, that looks really cool. I had a guy friend of mine look at it last night. He was like, I want to see that one. I'm like, yeah, I bet you do. And another one I am kind of excited to see, so I will join, is...
Oh, I'll get you along, you don't have to join.
Well, no, I'll join because I want to see the scene with Seth Gamble because he's a cutie. That's a cutie, and what I like about your site is that you present your site as more of a young girl on a sexual journey. And that's what I see as a bit of the future of porn right now. I'm tired of seeing just the cookie cutter kind of thing. I like how you have different perspectives. I like your setup ideas. How it's like, oh, you know, I tricked this guy. I just left my webcam going and he's over here. That's cool. That's really cool. And maybe that really happened. I don't know, you know. I won't say.
That's my husband, actually.
Oh, is it really? Okay. Tricked him. Oh, look at
That
that.
really was the first time. But no, that's what I'm. You know, I kind of wanted to feel more like, you know, video blogging is so popular now, and it's so relatable to people. So why can't porn really be essentially like a video blog? Like, hey, I just happen to have sex, and here's my camera.
It's becoming that. I mean, with the popularity of the webcam. You know, are you a webcam girl also? Do you do like the Streammate network, or do you just do it all indie, or?
I used to do a lot of webcamming. I used to work for a camcorder, like the first camming site on the internet, like when I was 19. I do camming on my site now, but I try to keep it just to my site.
Wow. Wow. So you've been doing this since you were 19. That's cool. That's really cool. Let's see. Well, speaking of that, how long have you been into technology in general? I mean, you said you were in video games since you were a child, but when did you first start with the web design, like bringing your tech knowledge into the adult world? When did you put it all together? Because I started piecing it together when I was in my early 20s, but you seem like you were way earlier.
I think I just kind of, the internet, my mom and I had a personal computer since we were 10, and we had the internet, you know, dial-up crap back then, but I think I've just always been into the internet and developing. I used to make like GeoCities pages when I was 14. I actually started a hemp bracelet site, and I would sell hemp bracelets for money orders on GeoCities. Okay. And then do eBay stuff. And then I don't know, I think it's just always kind of been integrated into who I was. So it wasn't a lot. Like anything that came out, like a new website, like Friendster, Makeout Club, all those things, I was always joining, always seeing what they're about, seeing how they worked and how they connected.
Yeah. What's been your favorite webcam network to work on for the webcam girls who watch? Because I got a lot of webcam girls watching me at this point. So which one do you recommend, if any? Or do
I would say CamWars. CamWars is my favorite.
Cool.
It's the easiest one to navigate. You really don't have to do much. It's a flat rate, too.
It is, yeah. So if you could put together your dream porn scene, or in your case, porn movie, because I see you starting your own label most likely within a year. It seems like you're going
I'd love to.
Like,
I think it would be fun.
Oh, I think you should. I think that you have a really good eye. But what would you like to make? Like, if you could just today create whatever you wanted to.
I have an idea for like a movie I want to do for myself, like my DVD, but I want it to be like 5, 6 different scenes, but each of them being like a game related scene. I would really like to make a Fallout one.
Okay, well don't talk too much about it, because that's actually a really good idea.
I mean, I don't know. I have some ideas.
Yeah. Okay, well that's cool though. Who are your favorite adult and mainstream actresses? Like, if you could pick whoever to work with, who would you like to cast and work with?
I've always admired Belladonna a lot. I've always admired her for, you know, still being into really, really raunchy things, but being classy about it in a way, if that makes sense. You know, like, if you own it and you're not ashamed of it and you know about it, it's just different than being like, I don't know. You know, there's that line.
Yeah.
Where it's like empowering or like trashy, I guess. But she keeps you know, double anal classy, I guess.
If it's possible to do, if anyone's done it, it's her. That's for sure. All right, now, what do you think your fans really find appealing about you? I mean, obviously, you're gonna have some fans who just might be into like, ooh, she's a redhead, or oh, she has tats. But personality-wise, what do you think your fans really like about you?
You know, like every time I do a radio interview, I think somebody calls in and they always ask them that, why do you like Misti thing? And it seems like most of them, they like that I reply back to every email, you know, and I remember everyone's faces. I'm not always good with names, but I've never been good with names, but I can always remember faces, and I can always remember like what happened. And I think just that I'm accessible and I respond and I'm engaged. I don't really consider most of them like fans. Most of them I've met, I would just hang out with. Like, they're cool, nerdy people just like me, and, you know, we totally can relate on things.
That's cool. That's cool. I actually think that more and more techie type women are finding their way into adult because they're on the computer anyway. I mean, with me, that's kind of how it happened. I went into exotic dancing. Before that, I was a computer tech. But you wouldn't know it today, considering the tech problems that I'm having.
Change every 3 months. It's impossible to keep up with.
But yeah, I mean, I just started realizing, like, I'm chatting with guys for free on webcam anyway. Why shouldn't I charge for it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that it's a smarter breed of girl coming into the adult industry, which is nice to see. I like that. And
the internet makes everyone much more accessible. And if you're a girl who chooses to not be accessible, I don't think you're going to have as much of a following, because what's popular on a YouTube video can get you a job at an ad company now.
It can. I think a lot of fans actually are starting to realize that what they thought was a real girl was actually a girl who was produced by people behind the scenes, and those cracks are starting to show from what I can observe in, I guess, what you would call mainstream adults, if there is such a thing. Yeah. So I think I personally think that's why a lot of people are going to really gravitate toward you, because you are a do-it-yourselfer. You are real. You're extremely smart. I figured from reading on a lot of your blogs and stuff that you were, but speaking with you, I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Okay, another question. Aside from computers, what are your other hobbies? What keeps you busy? What keeps you grounded?
It sounds bad, but pretty much video games. A lot of video games. Reading, comic books. I used to do a lot more reading before I moved to California, I think because I had winter months, so there was a lot of time inside. But here there's always stuff to do outside, so it's kind of hard to stay focused and do something. You're like, well, I can go play on the beach, or I can go play in the park, and it's December. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool, though. I've heard this. I talked to one girl, and I'm going to ask you too. When you work a porn scene, or when you're doing a porn scene, I'm sure you get into it. I'm sure you get passionate. But do you kind of look at it like a video game? I know that sounds odd, but I kind of did in many ways when I would work with somebody, especially when I'm trying to figure them out. Does your mind kind of work in the same way when you're working with somebody, Neo, or no?
I could definitely see that. When I'm at work, it's totally different than like who I really kind of am at. I mean, it's impossible to be yourself with somebody you just met, and you're trying to make it look good, which is never what necessarily feels that great.
Right. So
yeah, there's definitely like, okay, I have this amount of time to finish this level, and this amount of time to finish this level, and then I finally go to the boss, and then I win.
That's how I thought about it. I mean, it's always great. Sometimes you do have really good chemistry with someone that you work with, and I've noticed that with some of the clips I've seen of you, I think you have a very even keel personality. So you mesh well with others, which is really refreshing to see. You're not trying to take over the scene. I've seen some scenes where it's like, come on. All right, let's see. I don't know. What's something that people are surprised to learn about you? I mean, we've gone over a lot, but what do you think is surprising?
When it comes down to it, I'm definitely very awkward and shy, and my guy friends always give me crap about it, because I'm always like, I'm going to take you home, get you naked. And they're like, look, when you get home, you're going to be like, so, did you want to make out or something?
Oh, yeah, that's how they are. All right, cool. And I don't know, I guess, like, what can we expect from you in the near future, far future? What do you have going on, like, right now that you want to talk about? Or
I actually got booked for a Gamer Girl movie that New Sensations is making next month.
Ooh, okay.
And they actually interviewed me because they wanted to see if I was really a gamer girl, and they want to make sure that the girls are real gamer girls, because they realize that if you hire a girl to fake it, those people know when you fake it. It's not something you can fake. So I was really excited about that. That just happened yesterday. It doesn't start shooting till September. So other than that, my website and Exotica LA coming up.
And I guess that's about it. But my 2 websites that I have, the Meow Misti Dawn, and then I'm about to launch Dawn of the Bed. So those are keeping me pretty busy.
Wow, okay. Well, that's cool. I'll be interested to see who else is in that Gamer Girl
me too.
Movie. That'll be cool. All right, great. Well, hopefully everything recorded properly. If not, I'm going to ask you to do it again. Hopefully I can, put something together. But thanks for giving me some time and everything.
Thank you.